So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
I greatly enjoy Dragon Ball, especially the first half of Dragon Ball Z. Now, it's by no means perfect, but it's a very fun series. It's more so focused on cool fights and comedy, and it doesn't really have a deep story with a ton of lore. Now, I'm not saying it has no story or no lore, but when you compare it to things like Lord of the Rings, Warhammer 40k, or even Star Wars, it's clear that the story and lore is pretty much just there to set up comedy or cool fights. There's not really an extended universe that goes into detail about Chase's race, or Birder's race, or even what Frieza's home planet is like. I think Celza is the same race as Chase, but he's a non-canon character. Now, some people have told me, well, there is an extended universe, read that I sent you! Oh wow, Raccoon used to be a ballerina dancer, and Chase used to play baseball and that's how he developed his technique? Wow, so interesting! So yeah, it's pretty clear to me that Dragon Ball doesn't have deep lore, or even an extended universe, but it would be cool if it did. Like, what if there was a book that was all about the technology of Frieza's empire, in a similar fashion to how there's books about the Star Wars technology? So I decided that because there's no book like that, I'll just make a video about it myself. So in this video, I'm going to be power scaling the technology of Earth, Namek, and lastly, the technology of Frieza's empire. Let's start off with Earth. Now, at first glance, it may seem like a generic 1950s futuristic aesthetic, complete with flying cars. But throughout the series, we see that Earth has a piece of technology that no other planet has developed: the capsule. Yep, this piece of technology is completely unique to Earth. Neither the Galactic Empire nor Frieza's empire, or even other universes, have developed a piece of technology like this. The capsule is, well, a capsule that can store things like refrigerators, houses, and even time machines. You just press the button on the top, throw it, and whatever you stored in it will appear in a cloud of smoke. You can store a heavy cube of Kachi in it, and the weight of the capsule will be so light that even a toddler could carry it. So yeah, this little thing you have seen throughout the entire series completely breaks how the laws of physics and mass works. Like, just imagine how powerful the capsule would be if they militarized it. You put a 360-pound fridge in a capsule, fire it out of the gun, making it go at 2,700 feet per second. After using the formula, mass times acceleration, we get over 134,383 newtons of force. And keep in mind, that's just a fridge. The capsule has been shown to hold things like houses, and those things can weigh between 40 to 80 tons. You guys ever heard of the satellite Thor? It was a satellite designed to drop tungsten rods that would gain speed until they reach Mach 10, hitting with the destructive force of 1/1000th that of the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, Mercenary Tao threw a pillar at over Mach 20, and he existed really early on in Dragon Ball. Piccolo was capable of levitating a pyramid. So imagine if instead of using key attacks, characters in Dragon Ball just threw a bunch of capsules at people that turned into a whole bunch of metal rods. Mercenary Tao could have just taken a handful of capsules, threw them, remotely activated them, turning them into a whole bunch of metal rods, and wiped out an entire country, if not an entire continent. A capsule weighs like, what, maybe an ounce? The pyramid Piccolo levitated was estimated at 637,581 tons. So if there's 16 ounces in a pound and it takes 2,000 pounds to equal 1 ton, that would mean Piccolo could levitate 20,402,592,000 capsules all at once. And if they all transform into 40-ton houses, yeah, the Z fighters really should have militarized this tech. I got the idea for this from Marvel Comics when Hawkeye used PIM particles in his arrows to create an entire storm of arrows. Now, using presumably the same tech as the capsules, Bulma invented a shrink ray, which of course was only used once then forgotten about because it was only here for comedic effect. Yeah, Bulma had the potential to become the Hank Pym or the Atom of her universe, but she decided not to for whatever reason. Now, artificial gravity is a very common thing in sci-fi. So common, in fact, that it would probably be easier to name all the sci-fis that don't have it. In Dragon Ball, it's definitely not something unique to Earth. The Namekians have it on their ship, Frieza's empire has it, and any spacefaring race in Dragon Ball we see also has it. Now this is purely my headcanon, but I like to believe that Earth got the technology for artificial gravity by reverse engineering the Saiyan space pods. But Earth really cranked the artificial gravity tech up to 11. They made it go all the way to 400 times Earth's normal gravity. If you're interested in what 10 times normal gravity would do to your body, I have a video about that on my main channel, and I highly recommend you check it out. Now in the future, Bulma invents a time machine, which we later find out is powered by materials from the center of the Earth. Now it should be noted that this is not a piece of technology that is unique to Earth. The Kais have time rings, Kami has the Room of Time, not to be confused with the Room of Spirit and Time, and Jocko mentions that time travel is illegal.
Galactic law states altering time is a high felony offense punishable by exile to a penal colony.
And if there's a law that makes something illegal, that something probably exists. The governments in our real world aren't exactly passing laws to make magic genie lamps illegal. And finally, the last and probably the most impressive piece of Earth technology are the androids. Like Sergeant Metallic, who I personally believe is Android 7, Android 8, who kind of looks like Frankenstein. Then we have the non-canon or pseudo-canon androids like androids 13, 14, 15, and 21. And of course we have the extremely well-known android 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and the biological android Cell. Oh, and I almost forgot, in the Dragon Ball superhero movie, we also get Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Cell Max. Now it's important for me to mention that not all androids are, well, androids. A lot of them are cyborgs. Hell, some of them are completely biological, like Cell and Cell Max. That's because the translation for them in the dub was android, but a better term for them would be artificial human. Now Sergeant Metallic and Android 8 are decently strong, but the average Frieza soldier could probably take them out. But Android 16 through 20 are, somehow stronger than Frieza, who was the strongest person in the universe at that time. They're even stronger than Mecha Frieza. Apparently, one scientist from Earth was better at creating androids than all the smartest minds in Frieza's empire. And no, it's not mentioned that they're made out of any super metal or anything like that. The existence of the androids just completely breaks the way the Dragon Ball universe works. And don't even get me started on Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 along with Cell Max. Are you seriously telling me that a primitive planet like Earth could create creatures that could rival the gods?
Think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
I'm not gonna rant about this any further. I already have a video in the works about how androids and cyborgs are way too powerful in every universe they're in. But anyways, androids 16 through 20 are at large star level, and Cell is at solar system level. And finally, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Cell Max could easily destroy the universe with a fraction of their power. But now we are done with the technology of Earth, and are moving on to the technology of the Namekians. Unfortunately, due to the Namekians nearly being completely wiped out and having their technology sent super far back, we pretty much only have Kami's ship to go off of. Now this ship nearly went from Earth to Jupiter instantaneously. It has been estimated to be 196 to 658 times faster than the speed of light, and the ship is also fully voice activated.
Popo!
Oh wow! Your name opens the ship?
Popo!
And it closes it too!
Popo!
And, yeah, that's, basically it. I would like to talk more about the Namekians' technology, but unfortunately, that's all we have. And before you bring up the Dragon Balls, those are mystical artifacts, not technology. But now we are moving on to the technology of Frieza's empire. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the reason why 90% of you clicked on this video. Let's start off with the space pods. It took Kami's ship 1 month to reach Namek, but Goku's ship that was reverse engineered from the Saiyan space pods only took 6 days to reach Namek. So I think it's safe to assume that Saiyan space pods are about 6 times faster than Namekian ships. They do of course slow down before they land on a planet, because if they didn't, yeah, they wouldn't have a planet to land on because it would have been blasted into smithereens. But even then, it really shows just how durable these ships are if they can crash into planets making craters over and over again. Now this is never outright stated, but because Vegeta and Nappa were in those space pods for an entire year, Yeah, they probably have some hibernation cryogenic-like system. Yeah, the Saiyans being cryogenically frozen in their space pods is actually never brought up. The fans always just assumed they were. But the Saiyan space pods are by no means the fastest ship in the Frieza Empire. It's mentioned when Goku returns home from Yardrat that Frieza's ship was much faster than his. And in the Broly movie, we clearly see that Frieza's ship is outside of the Milky Way galaxy. So yeah, this ship can probably go at hundreds of thousands of light years a second. Frieza's empire also has healing tanks, jetpacks, arm cannons. By the way, those arm cannons are strong enough to one-shot a Namekian ship. But I'm sure that the two pieces of tech that you want me to talk about the most are the Scouters and the armor that Frieza and his men wear. Now, the armor is not only good enough to be worn by Saiyan royalty, but also by the Ginyu Force, Frieza in his first form, and King Cold in his second form. Even in the Cell games they're using this armor. Oh my god, even Broly has it on! Now, it should be noted that not all the armors are created equally. The ones that the Saiyans use are made out of an extremely elastic material that can stretch out so much that an Azaru can wear it comfortably. But the one Frieza was wearing was made out of a much more solid material because it shattered when he went into his second form. And Vegeta mentioned that the armor he was wearing when he fought Frieza, as well as the armor that was later replicated for the Cell games, was the latest model of the armor yet. It's hard to know exactly how strong this stuff is. The armor Raditz was wearing was cracked by Gohan, and Gohan's power level at the time was only above 1,370. But both Vegeta and Trunks were convinced that the latest version of the armor would help them in their fight against Cell, and he was around small solar system level at this time. And don't even get me started on how strong Broly's armor might be. And finally, we have the Scouter. It can of course read your opponent's power level and show you how far away they are. The old version could calculate power levels up to 22,000, but anything above that will cause the computer to overload and self-destruct. But the newer versions could calculate power levels above 180,000. However, when Vegeta's power level was close to that of first form Frieza, which is 530,000 by the way, Frieza's new up-to-date Scouter exploded. And after that, we really didn't see Scouters being used all that much. So that was my power scaling of the technology in Dragon Ball Z. Was there anything I missed? Tell me in the comments section down below. And if you would like me to make a follow-up going over all the magic and magical artifacts of the Dragon Ball universe, get this video to 3,000 likes. Anyways, I'm going to get started on my video about why cyborgs and androids are way too overpowered. See ya guys then. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my video on Gary Stu's and Isekai animes. I'll link it down below, please go check it out.